8 NFL players who played multiple positions. Before we start, I would want you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Big Hit Central. Braxton Miller, once a star quarterback at NCAA powerhouse Ohio State, is now a wide receiver with the Houston Texans. The former Buckeye signal caller transitioned fairly seamlessly to wide receiver with the school in 2015, good enough to be drafted 85th overall by the Texans in the 2016 draft. Miller isn't the first player to successfully switch positions, and he won't be the last. So here are 8 NFL players who found themselves at another position and they thrived. Number 8, Josh Cribbs, quarterback to wide receiver and kick returner. If you had a chance to watch Josh Cribbs run kickbacks for the Cleveland Browns for 8 seasons, you'd have never known he was a star college quarterback. The 3-time Pro Bowler was a royal pain to the opposition coverage team, setting an NFL record for return kickoffs tied with Leon Washington with 8, including 2 kickoff returns of 100 yards plus for touchdowns in a single game. That's also a tie with Ted Ginn Jr. Prior to his transformation as a receiver kick return specialist, Cribbs was a standout quarterback at Kent State, setting or tying many Division I records. He is one of only 2 true freshmen in NCAA history to both rush and pass for 1,000 yards, the other being Armani Edwards of Appalachian State. Cribbs is also one of only 6 players in NCAA history to rush and pass for 1,000 yards in at least 2 different seasons, doing it 3 times, as well as rushing for 3,500 yards and throwing for 7,000 yards in his career, tying Brad Smith and a couple of others. Number 7, Matt Jones, quarterback to wide receiver.
Got Hines out in front of him. Cribbs could take it all the way for the touchdown, Cleveland.
At the NFL Combine in 2005, Matt Jones was so imposing at 6'6", 240 pounds, and so fast with a 4.37 mark in the 40-yard dash that coaches and scouts in attendance called him the Freak. As a quarterback at the University of Arkansas, Jones uses speed and size to great advantage, once beating Eli Manning and Ole Miss in an NCAA record 7 overtime game. He was drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars as wide receiver in the first round of the 2005 draft, 21st overall, despite never have playing the position. Needless to say, it was a move that which shocked many observers. His career with the Jags bore out some of that skepticism, as he never really bust loose at his new position. Nevertheless, he did have a pretty good 2008 season, catching 65 passes for 761 yards and 2 touchdowns in 12 games. He was suspended for the remainder of the 2008 season for violating the NFL's substance abuse policy and hasn't played since. Number 6, Dallas Clark, linebacker to tight end.
Matt Jones at the bottom, one-on-one. Gerard looks that way for Jones, who's got out of bounds 5.
Dallas Clark had the body of a defensive back at 6'3", 250 pounds, but the soft hands of a wide receiver. So it's a good thing that after a slow start at linebacker with the University of Iowa Hawkeyes, he was moved to tight end in 2001. By 2002, his last season in college ball, he would win the John Mackey Award as the best tight end in college football. He would forego his last season of eligibility to enter the 2003 draft, where the Indianapolis Colts would select him 24th overall. He didn't set the world on fire his first few years, but was good enough to make it the all-rookie team in 2003 despite playing in just 10 games. Clark would win his only Super Bowl in 2006, catching 4 Peyton Manning passes for 36 yards, 1 crucial 17-yarder late in the game, in a 29-17 victory over Chicago. His best statistical season came in 2009 when he caught 100 passes for 1,106 yards and 10 touchdowns. Clark was only the 2nd tight end ever to catch 100 passes and was a first-team All-Pro that year. Number 5, Dante Hall, running back to kick return specialist.
And somehow just threads it in to Dallas Clark. What a perfect pass.
There was no more fitting of a nickname given to an NFL player than Dante the Human Joystick Hall, a running back for the Texas A&M Aggies in college football. A running back for the Texas A&M Aggies in college, Hall would go on to become one of the premier kick return specialists the NFL has ever seen. Hall had to defy the odds against him after being drafted in the 5th round of the 2000 draft, 153rd overall by Kansas City. After a so-so year as a returner, he played the entire 2001 season with the Scottish Claymores in NFL Europe. His return to the NFL proved climactic. In 2002, Hall returned 29 punts for 390 yards and 2 touchdowns, in addition to 56 kick returns for 1,354 yards and another score. He was a Pro Bowler and a first-team All-Pro that year as a kick returner and would surpass those numbers in 2003 to again be named to the Pro Bowl and the All-Pro first team. Hall still holds many Chiefs records for return yards and all-purpose yards and was ranked 10 in the NFL Network's top 10 return aces. Number 4, Antwaan Randle-El, quarterback to wide receiver.
From Horn, and he finds a gap. He got a block from Kyle. He's got an escort, and there he goes. What a way to start things for Kansas City.
How's this for distinction? Antwaan Randle-El is the only wide receiver to ever throw a touchdown pass in Super Bowl history, and it wasn't in garbage time during a blowout. A standout quarterback at the University of Indiana, Randle-El tossed a 43-yard trick double reverse pass to Hines, also a former quarterback, to clinch a 21-10 victory over Seattle in Super Bowl 40. Randle-El would also throw another 2 touchdown passes, including one to Ward in his final regular season game with Pittsburgh in 2010. That touchdown pass added to the career passer rating of 157.5, with 21 completed passes out of a possible 26, the highest career rating of any player with more than 20 completions. Randle-El came by his throwing skills naturally, as he was the first player in NCAA Division I history to pass for 40 career touchdowns and rush for 40 career touchdowns. Number 3, Julian Edelman, quarterback to wide receiver. Turns out that Kent State churns out some pretty good quarterbacks turned wide receivers. Not long after Josh Cribbs left Kent State to go on to Cleveland Browns kick returning glory, Edelman broke Cribbs' single-season mark for total yards at the QB position, passing for 1,820 yards and rushing for 1,370 yards in his senior year in 2009. He threw for 13 touchdown passes and ran for 13 more. He wasn't drafted until the 232nd pick by New England in the 2009 draft. Short in stature, he's just 5'10", returner with New England, but in his last 2 seasons, Minitron has lit it up. He caught 105 passes for 1,056 yards and 6 touchdowns in 2013, and followed that up with 92 receptions for 972 yards and 4 scores during the 2014 championship season. He would complete a record-setting 51-yard pass for a touchdown to Danny Amendola in the 2014 playoffs, and lead all receivers in yardage and catches in Super Bowl 49. In 2016, Amendola had one of his best seasons yet, catching 98 passes for 1,106 yards and 3 touchdowns, as well as winning another Super Bowl. Number 2, Hines, quarterback, running back to wide receiver.
Over to Edelman. He's loading up to throw it. He's going to the end zone, and it's a touchdown.
Funny how the paths of former quarterbacks have crossed in the NFL. Hines would haul in one of his more famous NFL catches from Antwaan Randle-El in Super Bowl 40, where he was MVP, did it all at the NCAA level with the Georgia Bulldogs. He caught 149 passes during his college career there, second most all-time, and for more than 3,800 all-purpose yards, second only to Herschel Walker, and also had records in passing yards, attempts, and completions as a quarterback during the 1995 Peach Bowl. As an NFL wideout, Ward became one of just 8 to haul in 1,000 passes and finished his NFL career with 12,083 receiving yards and 85 touchdowns. Ward is also considered by some to be one of the dirtiest players of all time. He was a 4-time Pro Bowler, 3-time second-team All-Pro, and a 2-time Super Bowl champion. Number 1, Antonio Gates, linebacker to tight end. It's a good thing Antonio Gates never played a down of football as linebacker at Michigan State under Nick Saban. Gates, a 2-sport athlete, also wanted to play basketball and chose instead to transfer to Eastern Michigan instead of playing for Saban. He would eventually end up at Kent State, there's that school again, as a power forward, where he helped the Golden Flashes reach the Elite 8 in the 2002 NCAA tournament. But the NBA didn't want a 6'4" power forward, so Gates got a tryout in front of a bunch of NFL teams, the San Diego Chargers winning the day and signing him as an undrafted free agent. Funny how it all turned out, too. Gates has become arguably the best tight end in the league, recording over 11,000 yards receiving and 114 touchdowns in 15 seasons for the Chargers. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first-team All-Pro, and 2-time second-team All-Pro. A surefire Hall of Famer, if there ever was one. And this brings us to the end of our video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.